at worst and best, we were afforded 2 weeks rehearsal. Best moment was the first day of shooting. Worst moment, my last day of shooting. People have often asked, did you ever feel that you're in a cult movie? And I said, no, but I felt that when I read the script, it was a hell of a script. And then after 2 weeks rehearsal, watching it going, I said, this is going to be real good. It just seemed to be clicking. And so it's a corny answer, but it's true. I was very excited to do the film. That first day of shooting was a knockout, and the last day was very sad.
I think the best for me was the first 2 weeks of rehearsal. It was wonderful until the wardrobe process. And I kept trying on things. I hate all these little things that are putting together. And finally Miguel walked in one day with my outfit on that I wore on the film. I go, oh my gosh, I said, that's what I want to look like. Because everybody else had such a unique look, and they were putting me in sissy clothes. It was awful. And yeah, so the director said, oh, please can we make that? It's so cool. And bless Miguel's heart, he went down to Beverly Hills and said, I'll pick it up for you. And he picked up multiple versions of that outfit. So that was a really warm moment for me. And also the attic with Dawn, that was a wonderful warm memory. And the worst part was falling face down in the mud multiple times. That was horrible.
Did a lot of takes of that.
And finally, these guys finally, I was so tired, they had to literally keep picking me up. You'll see them picking me up, dragging me back. I was just so exhausted. So that was horrible.
And picture, if you will, for a minute, Miguel wearing the outfit that she wears. It was the 80s.
Stop. Yeah.
Return of the Living Dead kicked off a successful franchise of films. You know, but I personally, I would like to think it laid the groundwork for films like Shaun of the Dead, Zombieland, you know, because it did kind of kick off that whole zombie comedy genre. I mean, do you guys feel, or at the time, do you think that this movie was going to do anything like that?
No.
That's the question. Yeah, I have no idea. Don knew because I guess he's been around. I didn't know the movie was a comedy. I thought it was serious. And because I had to read the whole script. And I never came to I just read my lines and I was like, oh, fuck, we're scared, right? And then could I live? Is my hair okay? And then I never came to the set on my days off. So when I saw the movie, I didn't know. I was shocked. I was like, what are you guys doing, man? But and then it became what it became, I think, just because, you know, Dan was RIP, a genius, you know, and he had a vision. And it doesn't happen very often, but he knew. I didn't know, but he knew because he said, save that, this is important. No, that little line, that little thing taped on that desk, that's going to be important. He just had a vision. And so, I was just lucky. I didn't know what happened. Heck, I was doing it, and I was lucky to be a part of it. I'm actually just lucky to be here that these guys even bring me. That's all.
Oh,
Well, this is the last time.
oh yeah. Did you really? Right. Cool.
We of course didn't have any involvement in that process, and I don't know about anyone else, but when we were shooting the movie, I didn't know that it would have that kind of score. I mean, I thought the movie would probably, also along with John, most of us were not aware of the sort of intrinsic comedy in the script, and we all pretty much played it straight, which is, I think, why it works as well as it does, because we didn't play for the comedy. And, this is always the example I use. When I read the script and a zombie crawls in the cab of the ambulance and gets on the radio and says, 7 more minutes. I read that and went, oh, that's creepy. And then you see it in the movie and go, oh my God, that's hilarious. And so it's that weird balance why it works so well. Because, in the second film, which, certainly has its own following, it's obviously much more played for the comedy. And that's a different way to go. But in the first film, it was not played for the laugh. And yet, Dan knew that was in there, and that's sort of how it worked. And by the same token, I didn't know that the soundtrack would have the great, sort of punk rock band soundtrack. And I have to say, you know, honestly, for me, I think when I first saw the movie, it actually took me back a little bit. The comedy elements, the fact that everyone was laughing, and the soundtrack, because I expected some traditional, you know, Jerry Goldsmith, spooky horror, you know, zombie score. And so my first viewing of the movie, I wasn't quite sure what to think, because it was very different than what I thought we had made in my mind. So my first reaction was like, I don't know if I like this. And then it grew on me, and then I figured out, oh, I'm stupid, because this is unique and different and kind of amazing. But yeah, great soundtrack that we have nothing to do with other than get to enjoy it now. And sign records that people bring, which are really cool. What's that? Yeah, it's very cool. It's a picture of this too. It's got little head on it. Yeah.
He has a question back there.
Oh, there's several questions. Yes.
That's pretty much me. So it wasn't a far stretch for me to go. And oh fudge.
Now say oh fuck just for me. She is that character. Robin had a question. Robin, you had a question. Right.
They said one time, Dan was walking out with this, and it just happened to stop and turn around, and we did that pipe, it was flying by, it was a big deal in the world. And so Dan had the effects department take that pipe away, and they could authorize weapons, so it would crack his head as a fluid gauge. So they liked each other at all. And I was just wondering, if that was fluid, a great guy relationship with y'all, or was he fiery, or was he the guy who caused all the problems with the dam, or how they did the rest of it?
Stress.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because, I mean, I hear all the stories about the friction between Clu and Dan, and I know that that existed. Personally, I was not on, I didn't witness anything particularly egregious, but I do know Beverly saw something.
I did. One day we were in the mortuary, I guess, and Clu and Dan were kind of having a bang, and all of a sudden, his face go flying by my head. Clu threw a vase at Dan, and it just went flying and smashed, and then I remember running to the door to that room to get his attention.
I'm going to tell a tale out of school. We were Clu and Jim and me, we were in the mortuary, and Clu is having a devil of a time. You do a
They're
very
in his
good
lines.
imitation of him. And he was having a terrible time remembering the sequence of lines or whatever. It just wasn't going very well. And Dan, and I don't remember this, but Dan took umbrage, you might want to look up. At my work, I forgot, I had no memory of what it was about. But apparently he said something very disparaging, and I can't remember it. And Clu jumped, tried to jump over the table to go with Dan. And Tom Matthews and Jimmy Cameron pulled him back, prevented him from hitting Dan, which is what he wanted to do. But then he said something that, you know, I wanted to crawl into the embalming table. He said, "We don't ever talk to Don Calvin that way. He's one of the finest actors in North America."